My bonus barn is obsessed with balloons right now. So he keeps asking for more. Yes, and he is a wizard who found a stick. And is wearing a dinosaur hoodie and a bed. Because he's silly. It's good though. Marius. We're gonna do a garden tour with the toddler. It's gonna get weird. Back garden. Not much has changed around here, I don't think, since last week. We're getting close to harvesting some more potatoes, I think. And yeah, some of our yellow squash is coming through. These are getting very close to being dead though. So got a couple of under pollination issues. So that's some blossom end rot from not getting enough pollen. And then these guys are totally fine and happy. So we're getting stuff. This little guy was the guy who was frost tender, but he's getting me nice little yellow squash. And then this is my second planting of squash because I expected these guys to get pulled out and they didn't. So he's very upset and sad. Yeah. Okay, yeah, more balloon. Oh no! This corn is tasseling already, but it is actually starting to form ears, but I don't think we're gonna get corn, but I'm just gonna hope that maybe something will happen. This netting got messed up, so I need to buy new, because that's cheap and terrible. Same thing happened here, so I replaced it, because I had one that wasn't cheap and terrible. Bugs got at this cabbage and all of its external leaves and we're starting to eat it. So I pulled those off and I'm hoping that it'll keep getting... I think it's done though. I think because of that, I need to harvest that and do something with that today. This is mostly just now becoming my to-do list is coming out of here. I pulled out all of my spinach from earlier and I planted some radishes and some beets in here. And those are starting to sprout up, so you can see little teeny radish sprouts.
Oh, more balloon.
Yes, more balloon. Yeah, fun. Yeah. We've got basil coming up, and this one I think is a weed. So I'm gonna pull. Oh, this might be arugula. Huh. Okay, well, I'll leave some of its friends there, because we just have some wild arugula or maybe mustard. Yeah.
Oh, more,
Yeah, we'll see.
More balloon.
Yes, more balloon. Okay. This is the most real life ever. So yeah, carrots, my volunteer melon. The beans are coming up. Peas are coming up. There's definitely a bunch of grass in here, but I can't be bothered. I just can't be bothered. And then this, I'm 99.9% certain is not a parsnip and is, yeah, that's a geranium. So that gets pulled out. So we do have some geraniums that are trying to come up in here. Here you go, buddy. Yeah. No, it's fun. But yeah, so I'm just gonna keep weeding stuff out as I figure out if they're geraniums or parsnips, because I'm pretty sure these are the parsnips, and then that is a geranium. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a geranium and not a parsnip. You know, we figure it out as we go. This is chickweed, so I'm gonna pull that because we don't actually want chickweed in with our basil. That's not the goal. Chickweed is awesome. It is delicious. It is edible, but that is not what we're trying to grow here. So right now, chickweed is a weed. And if I remember to pick these up later, I will give them to the chickens. But yeah, that is not what this is about right now. I'm pretty sure these are just some kind of random thing and not hopefully me pulling out what is food that I don't recognize as food because I've never grown these root vegetables before.
Mom wants to put the water.
Yeah, you want to make a water balloon?
Okay.
Okay, we can make a water balloon. That won't end poorly at all. But yeah, so I'm just weeding while being harassed by a toddler to make water balloons. Because, you know, it's Saturday. And that's what happens. Normally, I don't have him on Saturdays. He's with his mom. So, he wanted to come do a garden tour. So, we are now doing a garden tour. Because that's what you do. You adapt and you make it work. That's all we do, is adapt and make it work. Hey, buddy. Oh. Yeah. I think there is accidentally a whole bunch of chickweed in this box, which is not great. Oh, that's super gross. He found an old slug trap and just emptied it on his foot. Well, I'm gonna stop weeding this bed and go deal with grossness, because that's toddler life, is just always dealing with grossness all the time. Hey, you want to go wash your foot off? Yeah, okay. We'll go wash your foot off. But yeah, and then there's just the broccoli and the Brussels sprouts. Yeah, gross. Yeah, let's go get some clean water. And then potatoes. Yeah. We're gonna get some stuff. And this little butternut squash is taken off. But the other ones are way more impressive, and I'll show you those in a minute. And these are the Jerusalem artichokes, which, oh, I need to deadhead all these, because my fear right now is that we will get them from the seeds, which is potentially dangerous because they're invasive as heck and like to control where they're growing. And I need to come out here and get some blackberries. Marius, you want a blackberry? Okay, no thank you, Mom. Yeah, and then potatoes we need to get soon, and then cucumbers that never did well, and tomatoes that actually have little tomatoes on them. So hopefully those will ripen up before we get our frost. Well, Blondie just escaped and I had to chase her back in. Silly chickens. Yeah. This is, whew, walked into a spider web. This is the butternut squash that I planted from the butternut squash in the cupboard. And it's getting little butternut squashes, yep, all over. So hopefully we will actually get some butternut squashes. I think I'm gonna have to come in here and prune some of this back because it's just a mess. But this is 2 plants from 2 seeds from a squash that I forgot to harvest or eat, that I had harvested last year. So yeah, this is self-saved seed. I don't know what the quality of the squash will be, but they're definitely making butternuts, and there are a bunch. And now I need to make another water balloon, because that's correct. So we are in the greenhouse. Yes. Hi. It's disgusting. That sounds about right. Yeah. So we have a bunch of stuff going on, and I need to harvest a bunch of these plum tomatoes. And then the plum ones we haven't really been eating much of. I've been cutting them in half and sun-drying them. So, or dehydrating them to make sun-dried tomatoes. But they're good. So they're very sweet. Yes, buddy. We got eggplants and we've got pumpkins that are starting to set in here, which is awesome. And then that's a little melon, and this is a melon, and that's a melon, and that's a melon down there. And we got our first female blossom, so hopefully that will actually make us a melon. I started these way too late, which is why I put them in the greenhouse. And then this pumpkin has a pumpkin that I hand fertilized with a yellow squash, and it is setting fruit, and then it is trailing up and over, and so we will hopefully get some pumpkins in here, and that'll be awesome. And then we've got more tomatoes coming, so I'm just kind of pulling suckers and rooting them and seeing how long we can extend our harvest, with that. Yeah, and then this bucket never looked good, but it's still giving me lots and lots of food. And then more tomatoes, pepper starts because I'm a silly person. We keep talking about doing a hydroponic system indoors, which is why I started the peppers. And so if we actually make that happen, those will grow those hydroponically over the winter. And then these are some purple bean or peas that only one of them is sprouting so far, but that's okay. It's like the abandoned sprouts. And then I started some sunflower seed sprouts in just an old clamshell grape. And so those are coming up and just on a paper towel. And I have one out here and I have one in the house. The one in the house I think is actually doing better. So we'll have those for sandwiches and wraps and salads this week. And I'm going to put together the chicken's breakfast before we go outside. Oh, and then dill. We have dill. And mint and basil and chaos. Oh, thank you so much.
Welcome, Mom.
Thank you. Well, this is the best reason to have a kid in the garden. Good job feeding the chickens. Yeah, you want to give him more? He's wearing a dinosaur hoodie while feeding the tiny dinosaurs. Yeah.
I want more flowers.
Yeah, you can have more flowers. Good job, buddy.
But
Yeah, the chickens can have the flower. That's very sweet. You want to go get them more flowers? Okay. I'm going to give them this bucket so that they don't murder us all. Well, he got distracted by leek balls, so he's no longer getting the chicken snacks. It's fine. So this is an eggplant with a bunch of weeds because it's outside and it's got a bunch of weeds. 2 Brussels sprouts that have seen better days with also more weeds. And fennel, which is doing quite okay. And the blueberries that are for next year. I always buy them when they go on sale and then plant them out and hope that we get a little bit of a blueberry orchard. The plan is to line the back vegetable garden with a bunch of berries on the outside so that the kids can go and pick them. But, you know, it takes years for that to happen. Suckers coming up and a random pea. Interesting. The beets that kind of are just like the survivor beets. We just keep planting out these stunted starts and sometimes they get it together and then we eat them. And then we've got more tomatoes coming. I need to come out here and do another pruning because this is getting a little bit of blight, which is not great. And we've just been having a ridiculous amount of rain. But yeah, it's good. And the noodle beans are finally trailing up, but still no actual beans. So I think for my climate, I need to start these ridiculously early. I bought them, I want to say in April, and then like looked at the package directions and they were supposed to get started indoors in January or February. It's just like, oh, that will never happen here. So yeah, it's what it is. La 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 la. Yeah. But yeah, and then the hugel bed is doing awesome. The no-dig bed is doing okay. I pulled out one of the squash plants in there, and I pulled out the cucumbers in both. And then this pumpkin was in a war with the tomato, and then this pumpkin we thought had died, but it's still going. It's in a war with a different tomato, but the tomato is definitely winning on that one. I need to harvest the last of this kohlrabi because I think it just is not actually going to make us good food because I planted them too tight and they were overshadowed by the pumpkin that was originally in here. So I think for the health of this bed, I need to do that and then like whack back the oregano and possibly take out these broad beans because most of them do not look good, or cut off the tops, right? Like the dead bits because they're giving new life on the bottom. So yeah, we'll figure it out. But I need to do some maintenance. We all need to do some maintenance. Marius, hold on. No, thank you. Okay. But yeah, and we've got some really, really pretty big beefsteak tomatoes. These are the ones that I grew from seed. The ones that are more round, I got from a start at the grocery store. Or not the grocery store, at the plant store. But yeah, but we're still getting food. And we're getting little broccoli shoots all the time off of these. And so I've been harvesting those and roasting them. And they've been really tasty. And yeah, it is September, but we are getting tomatoes now in my region, which I just think is funny. Ew! You step on something gross?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. We tried to grow sweet potatoes in a bag. It didn't work, so that's just now a bag full of weeds. Fine. But yeah, but those are our raspberries. I'm going to try to get him to eat some. And then I'll do the rest of the garden. Want some more Sing Lala? Okay. Well, he just stole 4 raspberries and now is running, I think, to give them to the chickens, which are being attacked by the bird army. Or he's just throwing them on the ground. It's just food. It's just food. He's trying to make the water balloon pop. Bird army, get out of here. Stop eating all my chicken's food. We will eventually redo the coop. Yeah, we need to harvest the potatoes back there before we can move the coop. But that is the plan, is to harvest potatoes and move the coop and then build a new run back there. So many things. But look at how beautiful these babies are and how big they are. They are not that old. Hey, Legolas. I know, you're protecting your flock. You are a very good rooster. Oh, do you want my tomatoes? Hey, look at the babies. They're so big.
It's so big.
They are so big and they're so beautiful. Look how big and beautiful. Yeah, it's bananas to me how big they are because I only raise silkies and silkies are teeny tiny. But yeah, so yeah, bantams. Bantams raising flower hens. So far so good, which makes me believe that these are 2 females. And because they ran that first one off. So Brownie, I'm pretty sure, was a rooster. His feathers were developing completely different from these 2. And just everything about their behavior makes me think that they are, in fact, hens. But their breed is supposed to be more curious and adventurous and better at dealing with predators, which means that they are more adventurous and curious and make bad life choices, which is exactly what Blondie did today when exploring, because I did not bring her breakfast fast enough, so she went to go find her own. Well, toddler nonsense. The most toddler nonsense. It's fine. So yeah, I transplanted out my strawberries, which I'm gonna put a video of this together. These were just a bunch of runners and nonsense, and I'm hoping that they don't die, but a bunch of them I do not think are going to survive this, which is fine because we have way too many strawberries, and I'm the only one who eats them because most of the times the kids don't like them, which makes no sense to me, but that's okay. And then I planted the top out with some yellow beets. So those are starting to sprout, and we should get yellow beets. I threw some of our beet seeds that I grew into this bucket. The dogs keep jumping in here and eating the pea plants because my dogs are so weird. But yeah, but so far the salsify is okay. The kale in this bucket got root rot and died. We had some like fly larva stuff that went after my cauliflower and this one kale. And so I lost a bunch of cauliflower to these little maggots that ate all the roots. Thanks, guys. It's fine. But yeah, I threw some of our beets seeds just on top of the soil the other day, and I'm letting the rain take care of it. And if we get more beets here, awesome. If we don't, we don't. And then I put a couple more peas in here to replace the ones that the dogs ate. But this pumpkin that I planted on the 4th of July, just direct sow to seed, it has female flowers coming up. So we might get a pumpkin out of them. And then same thing, another strawberry. Some of them are doing better than others. It's okay. If they die, they die. It's fine. I only did this to half the bed. I'm still trying to find a kiddie pool so that I can clear out that other bed and use it for vegetables. And then same thing, beets on top. And these are sprouting and they're good. Same thing, the dogs are going after the peas. This kale is still alive. It's coming back. It's very happy. And this has a very nice female blossom that is getting ready to open. So this one I think we will actually get a pumpkin off of, which is awesome. my potatoes are doing really, really well. They're very happy, and they are getting ready to blossom, which means tubers are being made. And yeah, we should be seeing blossoms here soon. And then that means they're good, and they'll just get bigger, but the tubers will have already been made and set, which is awesome. And then I was just a silly person who threw some potatoes in very tiny bags because I thought it was funny, because I do things for the comic value all the time. These are the cabbages from forever ago, and they're still, I need to pull out the rest of this lettuce. We tried to sow some lettuce in here, and the birds, I think, went after it, which is super annoying. Or maybe it was those slugs. Cool. There's slugs in there. I'll get them out and give them to the chickens. Oh, you know, just, it's what happens. This bed is my perennial kale bed with some carrots, and we've been pulling carrots and roasting them and sauteing the greens. And so just been harvesting beets and carrots and doing that. So they're super tasty, and little teeny tiny nasturtium and lemon balm. And there's a pea, just because there's a pea. Random bucket of random. And then this is the new. I built this little pallet greenhouse that I got and seeded salad in here, and then the dogs went after the salad and the birds went after the salad, so I replaced it with some yellow beets. But this last row of salad actually worked, and then I moved this dinosaur kale out here hoping that it will recover. It had been attacked by cabbage moth, so there's a little dill in the corner, and then the beets are coming up and the salad. And so just mostly this is to protect against the cabbage white. Really, it's against the cabbage moths more than it is for the heat, but it will, it'll work for that purpose as well. And then we've got a bunch of rain on top that I probably should do something about. But yeah, that's the garden. It's not as crazy as it could be, but it's pretty okay. And then this is my perennial shard bucket that I refixed, and some of the shards coming up, and then I threw a couple beets on top, so like maybe we'll get some beets to harvest out of this. But the shard is coming back, and it comes back every year. I just took the seeds that it had set and pulled them off the stems, threw them back in here, put some more dirt on them, and now we've got at least 4 shard plants coming up. So this bucket, one seed packet from 2017 is when I originally planted it, and it's just still going strong because it's what it's doing. And then this is my other strawberry bed that I need to clean out with a random. Mom, yeah. I wanted more. You want more balloons? Yeah. And then I seeded this the other day, so this is starting to sprout, which is awesome. And some of that is not what I want to sprout, but that's okay. That is the ground elder. Okay, we're gonna make a water balloon. Well, thanks for watching. Sorry, it's a little manic today. Yeah, hope you have a good week.